how did you? I want to start from the very beginning. Are you from Dallas?
No, I'm from Arkansas.
Okay. How did you end up in Dallas?
Well, so I had a choice.
Put that mic just a little bit closer.
I had a choice whether Texas or Louisiana. Those were the two places that I wanted to move to. I graduated on Friday. I was in Texas on Monday. And the reason why I ended up in Texas was because we had a friend who went to high school with us, but she lived here, but she lived with her grandmother in Arkansas. So when she graduated, me and a few of my friends came down here for our senior trip. And I say senior trip because we all had plans to not go back to Arkansas. Okay? So we technically ran away from home.
Okay.
But I was the only one that was 18.
Oh, wow.
Nobody else was 18. So everyone else ended up going back. And I was the only one still here. And I was so excited about my future that I couldn't even realize where I was at when I came here, right? When we came here, we was in Oak Cliff. And not the good part of Oak Cliff. We was in like the hood.
Okay.
Like Section 8 houses. I'm talking helicopters, police chases. And I'm like, hey, this is dope. So I really, none of that fazed me. But my friends was getting homesick, and she was only 16, and once our parents found out what we were doing, she was like, get your butt back to the house, and so she went back, and I ended up being the only one left here, and I toughed it out.
Okay. Did you have any plans once you got here, or it was just, I'm getting out of Arkansas?
Hey, I was getting out of Arkansas. I was like, let's make it work, okay? And it worked, because I'm going to say this, when I came down, I was staying with a friend and her mom, and I had really wore out my welcome because I had been here for some months. I was trying to find a job. I couldn't find a job, and I was looking at, I didn't know anything about Dallas. I didn't know anything about Texas, period. I'm for real, straight from the country. Don't know anything, really, okay? And so I'm looking at the news, and at this point, like I said, I had wore out my welcome. And my cousin calls me. And she was like, hey, your mom told me you was down here. And she was like, I live in McKinney. And at that time, I'm looking at the news. And I'm looking at the news. And you know how they had the map, the weather map. And in McKinney, I'm like, what is it? And she's like, I'm in McKinney. And she was like, if you should come out and hang with me for a little bit. And I was like, well, I think I done wore out my welcome here. So I said, I think it's time for me to go back to Arkansas. And she's like, well, I'm going back this weekend, so I can come grab you now. You can hang out, and I'll take you home this weekend. I was like, all right. So she came and got me, right? We go to McKinney, and I'm like, wait, what? I'm seeing all these big old houses, pools, and all this, and I was like, we still in Texas, right? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So we pull up to her 5,000 square feet house. Just her husband, and her one little son. He was like 4 at the time. And I was like, now this is dope. And this is the Frisco, McKinney area. Frisco wasn't pretty much anything yet then. And she was like, you don't want to go back home, do you? I was like, no. She was like, well, let me talk to Tony. That was her husband at the time. And let me see what we can do. And so he was like, he didn't mind me staying there. I stayed with them for a good month. She helped me get my bank account open, found a job, got my apartment, and I was deuces. And that's all she wrote right there.
Really?
All I needed was somebody to give me an opportunity, and she did.
So where did you start working at?
I was working at Walmart.
Okay. And then from there, where did you move on to?
So you going way back, huh?
Yeah, I want to go deep because a lot of times people always see the successes.
You know what? That's true.
And I want to walk them through what you went through to get to the point where you are now.
That
you know
is
what I mean?
true. All right. So I was working at Walmart, and I worked at Walmart overnights. And so during the day, I felt like I had too much free time. So I got another job. And so it was called Eckert's, which now is I think it's CVS that took over Eckert's. But it was Eckert's. So I was working at Walmart overnight, and then I was working at Eckert's during the day. And so that's what I was doing for, I'm going to say let me tell you this, 2001, that's the year that I graduated high school, came to Texas, got a job, got my own apartment, also met my husband.
Wow.
Okay? Yeah. And so 2001 went super fast for me. And so I did that for a few months, and I ended up meeting my husband, and I actually met him at Walmart. And I hated him.
That's usually how we get them, fellas. That's usually how we get them.
I could not. I was like, he is so mean. I was just like, ugh. He got on my last nerve. But he would ask me every day when I got off work if I needed a ride home. And I'm like, no. He would ask me every single day. And then one day I needed a ride home.
Got her.
And it went from there.
Oh, okay. And so how long did you work those 2 jobs?
I'm going to say, because it wasn't really long. Okay, because I'm going to say this too. Because see, we graduated. I came to Texas. Got 2 jobs, met my husband, then I got pregnant.
Oh dang! You was fast pacing this thing.
2001 was the year, okay? And so I ended up getting pregnant. And so when I got pregnant, it was Thanksgiving. It was the holidays because I remember him taking me to his mom to meet his mom, and the first thing his mom said, "She pregnant, ain't she?"
Oh, wow.
I was knocked out. I was sleeping every time you look around.
Yeah,
like that baby was kicking my butt. But yeah, so I ended up pregnant. And so once I found out I was pregnant, then I was really, really sick with the pregnancy because I had preeclampsia. And so he told me I no longer had to work 2 jobs. So I said deuces to Eckert's. So it wasn't that long. I want to say maybe 3 to 4 months that I worked those 2 jobs.
Oh, okay.
And then that was also the time that I declared, I said I would never work 2 jobs again because I was tired. Even, I felt like I was wasting my time, during the day because I didn't have a lot going on. I was super tired working both jobs. And so ended up moving in with the Hubs, and we had our first child. And by the time I was 21, I was married, first child, had bought our first house by the time I was 21.
Okay. So when did you jump into, I guess, where does your business acumen come from? Where did you?
So to be honest, network marketing, okay? So my very first, I ain't gonna say that either, okay? Because when I was in high school, I used to get paid to write people's sentences. So back then, when people got in trouble, they had to write sentences.
Like standards or something? Like
no, that was like, I will never talk in class.
Okay.
100 times.
We call those standards in where I'm from.
Oh.
Yeah. You gotta write
and
standards.
So I love to write. As you can see, how my handwriting is perfect.
Yeah.
But I love to write, and so I would write people's sentences for them, and I would charge them to do that.
Oh,
so
wow.
I say that was my first hustle.
Okay.
Yeah, and so but when I came here to Texas, I learned about Mary Kay. So I became a Mary Kay representative. And one of the things about network marketing is how they pump you up, right? They give you all this motivation and inspiration. That's why they have these conferences and things like that to keep you fired up about the company. Mm-hmm. And so I was pumped. I was like, you couldn't tell me nothing. Everybody gonna be wearing Mary Kay, okay? And that's how I was. But I loved how I took that, and I made it a business. I didn't make it a successful business because as soon as I made that money, I spent that money because I didn't know how to manage money. I didn't learn that until later on. But that was my first thing that introduced me into business. Later on, I ended up getting into another network marketing company, and that's what helped birth my entrepreneur journey. So I had got into a company called It Works. And so they had the body wraps, the supplements, and all that.
Oh, okay.
And I did that because I had my second son. And I was like, listen, this weight got to get off. And so in my head, I was like, if I make this my business, then I will be consistent with keeping the weight off and being healthy. So that's what I did. And so what I did was I tied that the supplement line into a fitness business. And so that's what allowed me to be a full-time entrepreneur in 2013.
Really?
Yeah.
So you must have been selling a lot of waist trainers.
And wasn't necessarily I was selling a lot of supplements. It was my services that I was doing because people buy people. And so once I learned how to capitalize off the services and narrow down my niche, I was able to get paid very well.
Okay. Now, what happened to that business? Did you just let it go, or?
I actually did not. I actually still train clients. I just don't promote it.
Really?
Yeah, because right now my focus is the business lounge.
Okay.
So, but I still train clients. I'm up at 4 a.m. every day.
Really?
Yes.
Goodness. Golly.
I'll be thinking everybody else up at 4 a.m. too.
Dang. Okay, so that business, the supplement business, the exercise is exercising as well.
Yeah, so I do it's strength and endurance.
Okay.
So it's more like a high intensity boot camp. That's what we do.
Okay. All right. Is that y'all that I'll be seeing sometimes in the parking lot early in the mornings?
No,
different places.
Not for me now. No.
Oh, okay.
I do mine 1-on-1.
Oh, okay. One-on-one
Yeah,
clients.
I used to do the group trainings when I was full fledged in that business, but now it's straight 1-on-1. With my
Okay.
clients.
Are you still accepting clients for that?
I am not.
Okay. Thank you for tapping in with us. In order to see more clips like this, check out this video here or check out this one here.